The grand chamber of the Galactic Council was hushed. Thousands of creatures from across the galaxy sat quietly in their places, waiting. The light of distant suns streamed through the enormous windows, casting long shadows across the floor. Ambassador Keth of the Alaran race stepped slowly toward the center of the hall. His blue skin appeared pale under the intense lights. His hands trembled as he gripped his speech notes. General Vex observed from his elevated throne high above the floor. The Zelkarian leader was twice the size of most beings present. His crimson armor shone brightly, and his forearms rested on the metal arms of his chair. Behind him sat rows of officers clad in identical red armor. They appeared bored. They had conquered 17 star systems. What could this small, peaceful species possibly say that would matter? Keth cleared his throat. The sound echoed through the silent chamber. "Members of the Galactic Council," he began, his voice soft but steady. "I come before you today with a warning about a planet called Earth." Some beings in the assembly shifted uncomfortably. Earth was a small world at the galaxy's edge. Most species barely acknowledged its existence. Its inhabitants sent out radio signals that revealed they were young and divided. They fought wars with primitive weapons and had only recently reached their own moon, about 50 years ago. Keth continued. "My people sent 3 exploration vessels to the Earth system. We sought to make contact with the humans. Our ships were the finest we possessed, carrying our most skilled crews." His voice lowered. "None returned." General Vex laughed loudly, the sound reverberating through the hall. "Ambassador Keth," he called, his voice deep and harsh. "Are you telling us your ships were destroyed by humans who still use chemical rockets and metal bullets?" Whispers and laughter rippled through the crowd. The Altarians were known for their peaceful nature, but also for their weak military. Their ships were designed for exploration, not combat. Keth's face tightened with pain, but he pressed on. "We sent more ships to discover what happened. These crews were instructed to keep their distance and only observe." He paused, scanning the room. "What they saw made them retreat immediately to our home world." "What did they see?" asked Counselor Zara, a tall figure from the vegan system. Her tone was both curious and skeptical. "Human ships," Keth replied, "but not the primitive vessels their radio signals suggested. These ships moved in ways that should not be possible. They appeared and vanished like phantoms. Our sensors struggled to track them." Keth looked directly at General Vex. "And there are countless ships hidden throughout their solar system." The hall fell silent once more. Even General Vex's laughter faded. Keth continued, "We are not the only ones to have encountered this. I have communicated with representatives from 6 other species. Each sent ships to Earth. All lost vessels or had their crews flee in terror." He pulled out a small device and activated it. Images floated above the council floor. The first showed a scorched and mangled piece of metal drifting in space. "This is all that remains of a Koran battlecruiser," Keth explained. "The Korans are renowned for their formidable military. Their ships have heavy armor and powerful weapons. This cruiser was discovered near Earth's moon. There were no survivors." The next image depicted another ship completely intact but empty. "This is a Nexari science vessel. It was found orbiting Earth with its crew missing. The ship's computer recorded no attacks. The crew simply vanished." General Vex rose, his enormous figure casting a shadow over the floor. "These could be accidents," he said. "Space is perilous. Ships go missing all the time." 7 different species, Keth countered. "All near the same world, all with no explanation." He shook his head. "This is not coincidence, General. This is a pattern." Dr. Yule from the Science Division stepped forward. A small gray being with large eyes, he spoke in a high, thin voice. "Ambassador Keth, our long-range scans of Earth show a primitive civilization. They burn fossil fuels for energy. They use projectile weapons in warfare. Their fastest ships barely reach a fraction of light speed. How could such a species threaten advanced civilizations? Keth looked weary. I cannot explain how, Doctor. I can only report what has happened. Every species that approached Earth with more than basic observation suffered losses. Some lost ships. Some lost crews. Others returned with crews who refused to speak of what they witnessed. He activated his device again. This time, an audio recording played. The voice was rough and trembling with fear. It spoke in the Altarian language, but the Council's translation system rendered it understandable. Command, this is Captain Thex of the exploration vessel Seeker. We have observed the human home world as ordered, but something is wrong here. Very wrong. Our sensors detect massive structures beneath their cities. Energy readings that defy explanation. And the humans, they know we are here. They are watching us. We request immediate permission to leave this system. The recording abruptly cut to static. Then another voice came through. Seeker, your request is denied. Continue your mission. Captain Thex's voice returned, now trembling with panic. Command, they are coming. Human ships, but not like anything in their transmissions. They move as if alive. We are leaving the system now. Do not send anyone else here. Do not. The recording ended abruptly in silence. The Great Hall remained quiet for a long moment. Finally, General Vex spoke. Even if this recording is genuine, he said, it proves nothing. Captain Thex may have panicked over shadows and sensor glitches. General Keth's voice was now strong and clear. I have stood before this council and told you the truth. 7 species have approached Earth. 7 species have suffered losses. The humans may seem primitive, but appearances can be deceiving. I urge you to heed this warning. General Vex glanced around the room at his officers. Their faces showed confidence and slight amusement. The Zelkarian Empire had never faced an enemy they could not crush. Their weapons could obliterate planets. Their shields repelled any assault. What could one small world of primitive humans do against such power? Ambassador Keth, General Vex said, his voice commanding, the Zelkarian Empire values your concern, but we do not make decisions based on fear and rumors. Earth holds a strategic position on the outer rim. Its resources would benefit the entire galaxy under proper control. He paused, looking down at the small blue figure standing alone on the floor. The Empire will investigate this world thoroughly, with enough force to handle any surprises. Keth's shoulders sagged. He had failed. General, please do not underestimate them. Whatever the humans truly are, they are not what they appear to be. But General Vex had already turned away, speaking quietly with his officers. Plans were underway. Ships would be prepared. The conquest of Earth would begin soon. As the council session ended and beings started to leave the Great Hall, Keth remained standing in the center of the room. He had done all he could. The warning had been delivered. Whether anyone would listen was no longer his concern. Above, General Vex smiled as he strode toward the exit. Earth would fall within a month. Of this, he was certain. 3 weeks later, the Zelkarian war fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of Earth's solar system. 3,000 ships filled the dark void of space. The smallest vessels were twice the size of Earth's tallest buildings. The flagship, Dominator, was so immense it generated its own gravity field. General Vex stood on the bridge of his flagship, staring at the blue and green world through the main viewing screen. Earth looked serene from this distance. White clouds swirled above brown and green continents. Lights from human cities twinkled on the planet's dark side. Scan the system, Vex ordered his science officer. Commander Krall worked quickly at his station, his 6 arms flying over the controls. Sir, I detect primitive space stations around the planet, several small ships in orbit. Nothing that poses a threat to our fleet. Vex nodded. This was exactly as he had expected. What about their military forces? Ground-based missile systems? Nuclear Weapons, but very outdated designs. Fighter aircraft that use chemical fuel. No energy shields, no plasma weapons. Crawl looked up. Their most advanced ships appear to be simple transport vessels. No detectable weapons. Perfect, Vex said with satisfaction. Send the standard surrender demand. The message broadcasted on all human communication frequencies was simple and direct. People of Earth, you are now subjects of the Zelkarian Empire. Surrender immediately, and your lives will be spared. Any resistance will result in the destruction of your cities. On Earth, the message was received deep inside a hidden facility buried beneath the Rocky Mountains. Dr. Lisa Grant sat at a control station, eyes fixed on data streaming across multiple screens. Standing beside her was Captain Jake Morrison, a tall man dressed in a military uniform with no national insignia. They're using the standard Imperial protocol, Lisa said, her fingers flying over the keyboard. The same one the Corins used 5 years ago. Jake nodded grimly. And the Nexari before them. They never learn. He pressed a button on his console. All stations, this is command. Operation Mousetrap is now active. I repeat, Operation Mousetrap is now active. Across the planet, hidden facilities responded. In buildings that appeared to be ordinary offices, weapon systems powered up. In warehouses that seemed innocuous, fighter squadrons prepared for launch. Beneath major cities, thousands moved through tunnels and bunkers with practiced precision. Above Earth's atmosphere, the human response began. Old nuclear missiles launched from several countries streaked upward toward the alien fleet. The Zelkarian ships easily obliterated them with beams of energy. Fighter jets rose from military bases worldwide, their primitive engines leaving smoke trails in the sky. BX watched the pathetic show with amusement. Is this all they can do? Destroy the fighters and prepare for planetary bombardment. The Zelkarian ships opened fire. Beams of energy lanced down from space, striking military bases and government centers. But something was wrong. The explosions were small, the damage limited, and human casualties far lower than expected. Sir, Commander Krall said, confusion in his voice. Human cities are nearly empty. Our sensors show massive population movements, but we cannot track where they have gone. Underground bunkers, Beck said dismissively. Cowards hiding like insects. Continue the bombardment. Lieutenant Kate Sullivan pulled her fighter into a steep climb, chasing 3 Zelkarian interceptors into the upper atmosphere. Her aircraft looked ancient beside the sleek alien ships, yet it moved with impossible grace, turning and diving in ways that should have torn it apart. Behind her, 5 more human fighters flew in perfect formation. They communicated calmly and professionally, employing tactics far too advanced for a primitive species. Lead 3, you have 2 bogeys on your 6, Kate's wingman called out. Copy that. Lead 2 breaking left in 3, 2, 1, Kate responded. The human fighters scattered, but not in panic. Each maneuver was calculated, drawing the alien ships deeper into Earth's atmosphere. The Zelkarian pilots, confident in their superior technology, followed eagerly. Now, Kate said quietly into her radio. What happened next defied everything the Zelkarian thought they knew about human capabilities. The primitive fighters suddenly accelerated with incredible speed and agility. Their weapons, once thought to be simple projectile guns, fired energy bolts that sliced through Zelkarian armor like paper. Within seconds, all 3 alien fighters were destroyed. On the surface, Major Tom Bradley coordinated the evacuation of Denver. But this was no panicked retreat. Civilians moved in orderly groups through hidden tunnels. Military equipment emerged from concealed points throughout the city. Anti-aircraft systems disguised as cell towers and water tanks came online. Tom spoke into his headset. Sector 7 is clear. All civilians in bunkers. Defense grid is active. Similar. Reports poured in from around the world. New York, London, Tokyo, Moscow. All reported successful evacuations and active defenses. The humans were not caught off guard. They had been ready. In space, the true battle was just beginning. General Vex watched with growing alarm as new contacts appeared on his sensors. Ships materialized throughout the solar system, not from Earth's direction, but seemingly from empty space itself. Where did they come from? Vex demanded. Unknown, sir, Krall replied, his voice tight with worry. They appear to use some form of stealth technology. Our sensors cannot track them properly. The new ships were unlike the primitive vessels Earth had presented to the galaxy. Sleek, dark, and deadly, they moved with lethal precision. When they fired, Zelkarian ships exploded instantly. Commander Alex Rivera stood on the bridge of the human ship Phantom as it closed in on a Zelkarian destroyer. His crew worked silently, their movements showing years of experience and training. Target their engine section, Alex ordered. We want prisoners, not wreckage. The Phantom fired once. The destroyer's engines detonated, leaving it adrift and powerless. Boarding pods launched from the human ship, carrying soldiers clad in advanced armor. Similar scenes played out across the solar system. Human ships that should not exist hunted Zelkarian vessels with terrifying skill. The hunters had become the hunted. On the Dominator's bridge, alarms blared non-stop. Damage reports flooded in from every part of the fleet. General Vex stared at the tactical display in disbelief. In less than an hour, over 300 ships had been lost. This is impossible, he whispered. Our intelligence said they were primitive. Where did these ships come from? Where did they learn to fight like this? Commander Krall looked up, fear clear in his large eyes. Sir, I'm receiving a transmission from the human government. Put it through, Vex ordered. The main screen flickered and a human face appeared. An older man with gray hair and kind eyes, but something in his expression sent a chill through Vex. General Vex, the man said calmly. My name is... Director Peter Caney. I represent the Earth Defense Council. I believe we need to talk. Vex found his voice, shocked. You were ready for us. This entire system is a trap. Director Caney smiled, but it was no friendly smile. General, you were warned not to come here. Your own Galactic Council tried to tell you, but your empire never listens, does it? Around Earth's solar system, the battle raged on. Human. Ships moved through the Zelkarian fleet like sharks in a school of fish. For the first time, the mighty Zelkarian Empire was not the hunter. They were the prey. And they were learning that Earth's reputation for danger was not built on fear or rumors. It was forged on the bones of every species that had made the same fatal mistake General Vex was making now. The trap had been set long ago. The Zalarans had simply walked right into it. Vex cut the transmission with Director Caney and turned to his officers. His red armor was slick with sweat, and his forearms trembled with a mixture of anger and fear. Launch all ground forces immediately, he commanded. Take their cities, use the humans as shields against their own ships. Thousands of Zelkarian. Dropships fell toward Earth like metal rain. Each carried 50 soldiers in battle armor. Their weapons could melt steel. Their shields could stop bullets. Vex was certain his forces would dominate on the ground. The first wave landed in what had once been New York City. The soldiers expected terrified crowds. Instead, they found empty streets. The massive city was completely silent. Buildings stood, intact, but no one moved inside them. Traffic lights worked, but no cars drove on the roads. Captain Z led his squad through Times Square. The huge screen still showed advertisements, but the streets below were ghostly quiet. Command, this is Squad 7, he spoke into his radio. The city appears abandoned. Impossible, came the reply from above. Our sensors detected millions of humans here just hours ago. Captain Z looked at the empty storefronts and silent buildings. Well, they're gone now, sir. Similar. Reports came in from landing zones worldwide. London was empty, Tokyo deserted. Moscow showed no signs of life. Life on Earth had vanished. Every major city was evacuated with astonishing speed and precision. In orbit above, General Vex faced a growing nightmare. More human ships kept appearing out of nowhere. They moved through space like living entities, phasing in and out of reality. His weapons often passed through them as if they were made of light instead of metal. Commander Alex Rivera led his boarding party through the labyrinthine corridors of the Dominator. The human soldiers moved as if they had studied the ship's design for years, knowing exactly where to go and what to destroy. Alex's armor looked simple compared to Zelkarian technology, but it made him faster and stronger than any alien warrior. His weapons sliced through enemy armor like paper. Behind him, his team operated with lethal precision. "Sir," one soldier called, "I've found their main computer core." "Good," Alex replied. "Download everything. Ship designs, fleet positions, military codes. We need it all." The Zelkarian defenders fought fiercely but were no match. The humans moved like they had trained for this battle for decades. Every move flawless, every shot deadly. On the Dominator's bridge, General Vex received reports that chilled him to the bone. Human boarding parties had infiltrated 12 of his largest ships. They weren't just destroying equipment, they were stealing data and capturing prisoners. "How is this possible?" he demanded. "How do they know our ships so well?" "Commander." Krall worked frantically at his console. "Sir, I've analyzed the human weapons. Their energy signatures are similar to ours, but modified. It's as if they studied our technology and improved it." On Earth's surface, Captain Z and his squad uncovered an even grimmer discovery. Hidden beneath what appeared to be an ordinary office building, they found a massive military base. Inside the main laboratory, Dr. Ben Clark waited. A thin human with gray hair and steady eyes, he showed no fear as alien soldiers surrounded him. "Welcome to Earth," he said flawlessly in Zelkarian. "We have been expecting you." Captain Z raised his weapon. "You are coming with us as a prisoner." Dr. Clark smiled. "Captain Z of the 34th Assault Division born on Zelkara Prime. You fought in the conquest of the vegan colonies. Your wife's name is Sula, and you have 2 children." The alien captain staggered back in shock. "How do you know this?" "We know everything about your species," Dr. Clark replied calmly. "We have been studying you for 40 years, since your scout ships first entered our solar system." Around the lab, Captain Z saw displays detailing Zelkarian ship designs, weapon blueprints, and military tactics. But these weren't mere copies. They were improved versions. Human engineers had taken alien technology and made it better. "This is impossible," Captain Z whispered. "Your species is primitive. You barely have space travel." Dr. Clark walked to a large window overlooking an underground city. Thousands of humans worked at stations filled with advanced technology. Ships unlike anything from Earth hung in massive hangars. "What you see on the surface is what we want the galaxy to see," Dr. Clark said. "Down here is what we really are." He gestured to the bustling activity below. "We've been preparing for visitors like you for a very long time." In space, the battle worsened for the Zelkarian fleet. Human ships appeared and vanished like ghosts, striking with perfect precision before enemy fire could respond. Commander Lisa Hayes piloted her fighter through the alien formation. Her ship was nothing like the primitive aircraft Earth had shown. The Galaxy. It moved faster than light in short bursts and could phase through solid matter. "Gold leader to all units," she called over the radio. "Target command ships first. We want their officers alive for questioning." The human fighters moved with impossible coordination. They communicated silently as if reading each other's minds. Their weapons never missed, and their tactics were flawless. General Vex watched his once proud fleet being torn apart by an enemy that should not exist. "Get me a channel to our home fleet," he ordered desperately. "We need reinforcements, immediately." "Sir," Commander Krall replied, Our communications are jammed. We cannot contact anyone outside this system. Vex stared at the tactical display. Red lights marked the wreckage and destruction scattered throughout his forces. In 6 hours, he had lost nearly half his fleet. This was no battle. It was a massacre. On Earth, Major Tom Bradley emerged from a hidden bunker near what had been downtown Denver. Zelkarian soldiers who had landed there now sat in neat rows as prisoners. Their weapons were taken, armor powered down. Command, this is Sector 7. All hostiles captured. No human casualties. Reports came in from around the world. Every Zelkarian landing force had been surrounded and captured within hours. The alien soldiers never had a chance. Director Peter Caney stood in the main command center deep beneath. The Rockies. Hundreds of humans monitored the battle. Massive screens displayed every ship's position in the solar system. "Sir," an officer reported, "the Zelkarian fleet is trying to retreat. Should we let them go?" Kane shook his head. "Not yet. They need to understand completely. This cannot happen again." He opened a channel to General Vex. The alien's face appeared, marked by fear and confusion. "General," Kane said calmly, "are you ready to listen now?" Vex looked around his burning bridge. Half his crew was dead or wounded. His mighty fleet lay in ruins. "What are you?" he asked brokenly. "We are what happens when you give a warrior species 40,000 years to prepare for war," Kane replied. "We are what you get when you trap the most dangerous predators in the galaxy on a single world and then ignore the warnings of those who survived meeting us." The truth hit General Vex like a physical blow. Earth was not a primitive world. That got lucky. It was a carefully prepared trap waiting for his empire's foolish steps, and they had walked right into it. Vex gave the order to retreat. What remained of his once mighty fleet pulled back, hoping to escape to hyperspace. But as the Zelkarian ships turned to flee, they discovered Earth's defenses extended far beyond the planet. Hidden installations throughout the solar system came alive. Simple asteroid mining stations revealed themselves as massive weapon platforms. Ancient satellites near Jupiter bloomed open like deadly flowers, showing energy cannons inside. Ice cracked and fell away on outer moons, exposing secret military bases hidden for decades. Captain Jenny Walsh piloted her pursuit ship Nighthawk through the fleeing Zelkarian formation. Her vessel moved like a hunting bird, fast and silent. "Target engine sections only," Jenny called to her squadron over the radio. "We want prisoners, not wreckage." Her ship's weapons fired thin beams of blue energy. Each shot perfectly, disabled enemy vessels without destroying them. Zelkarian ships drifted helpless, their crews trapped inside. On Jenny's bridge stood beings from 3 alien species: Kor, a tall green creature from the vegan colonies; Yella, a small gray being from the Nexari homeworld; and Zarn, a former Corvan warrior. All had been prisoners of war from earlier Earth invasions and chose to fight alongside humanity rather than return home. Long-range sensors detect Zelkarian ships trying to reach the system's edge, Captain Kor said in his deep voice. "We prepare for threats that don't even exist yet," Kane said quietly to himself. "Because if we don't, no one else will." Above him, the hum of machinery and quiet chatter filled the vast chamber. Scientists adjusted control panels. Technicians calibrated weapons systems, and strategists mapped future battles. This was humanity's hidden edge, decades of secret preparation fueled by the lessons of every species that had ever tried to conquer Earth. Outside the underwater, Basse, the ocean waves crashed and spread across the surface, masking the reality beneath, a fortress world ready for war. Meanwhile, across the system, the Zelkarian survivors at the edge of the energy barrier regrouped, their once mighty fleet shattered and trapped like fish in a net. Commander Rex aboard the Swift Death stared at the containment field's glowing lines shimmering in space. "We're prisoners now," he muttered. "No reinforcements, no escape. Around him, the last of the Zelkarian captains shared grim looks. From the comm channel, Captain Danny Ford's voice crackled, calm and unwavering. "You are contained. Surrender peacefully, or face destruction. The choice is yours." The Grand War for the solar system was over. But a new chapter had begun. One where Earth was no longer a backwater world, but the galaxy's most dangerous gatekeeper. General Vex sat back, absorbing the weight of the revelation. The proud Zelkarian warrior who had once looked down on humans as primitive now faced the truth that shattered everything he believed. "You were prisoners," he said quietly. "For 50,000 years, imprisoned on a world designed to contain you." Lisa nodded. "Yes. Earth was never meant to be our home. It was a cage, a carefully constructed experiment. The architects didn't want to annihilate us. They wanted to control us, to keep us contained while the rest of the galaxy forgot we existed." The star map flickered on the tablet, showing not only the ancient human home systems, but also faint traces of forgotten alliances, battles, and lost technology. "But we survived," Lisa continued. "We adapted. We used what the architects gave us, and what they forgot to take away. We rebuilt in secret, advancing beneath the radar of the Galactic Council and the powers that once ruled us." Vex's eyes narrowed. "And now you wait for those who come to conquer you, to crush them before they can strike." "Exactly," Lisa said softly. "Earth is a trap, yes, but more than that, it is a testament to survival, a symbol that even the oldest and most powerful oppressors cannot extinguish a species willing to fight for its future." Outside the secure room, the distant hum of Earth's defenses echoed through the mountain base, a reminder that the fight for survival was never truly over. She said softly, "Your attack on Earth was supposed to be the final test. If we survived and defeated you, it would prove that humans had evolved beyond the architect's control." She turned back to face General Vex, her eyes steady and cold. "We passed that test. For the first time in 50,000 years, humanity was free to leave Earth." The weight of this revelation hung heavy in the room. Vex looked up slowly, the pride and certainty he had carried for centuries shattered by the cold, unyielding truth. Lisa's voice was steady as she continued. "You asked why we keep fighting, why we don't simply join the galactic community peacefully." Vex's voice was barely a whisper. "Because you are different. You are dangerous. Because the galactic community keeps trying to conquer us," Lisa said, her tone resolute. "You are the 7th species to attempt invasion. Each time, we hope it will be the last. Each time we are disappointed." The hologram flickered, showing a timeline of star systems where humans had once roamed as explorers and warriors. "We learned from every attack. Every invasion taught us. We adapted. We grew stronger." Just then, Colonel Ray Parker entered the room, tall and commanding. Behind him, 2 aides carried official documents. "General Vex," Ray said formally, "in 1 week, a human delegation will travel to the Galactic Council. We will be announcing our intention to join the galactic community as a free and equal species." Vex's eyes widened. "The Council will never accept you. They fear humans too much after what you did to our fleet." Ray smiled faintly. "After what we did to your fleet, I don't think anyone will object." Lisa activated one last hologram. Sleek human ships already scattered across the stars, moving boldly through the galaxy. "They thought Earth was a prison," Lisa said, "but it was a school. For 50,000 years, we learned everything we needed to survive and thrive. Now, our education is complete." She looked directly into Vex's eyes. "Your species and 6 others tried to conquer us. Instead, you taught us how to conquer the galaxy." 3 days later, Ambassador K of the Altarian people received a transmission that made his hands tremble. It was from Earth, simple, formal, and yet carrying the weight of a new era. Humanity announces its intention to join the Galactic Council as a free and independent civilization. We seek peaceful relations with all species and mutual cooperation in matters of trade and exploration. The message was signed by Director Peter Caney, representing the United Government of Earth. As Earth's newest starship, the Enterprise, prepared for its maiden voyage, Dr. Lisa Grant stood on the observation deck, gazing at the blue planet below. "Are you sad to leave?" asked Captain Jake Morrison. Lisa shook her head. "Earth will always be home, but it was never meant to be our cage." The Enterprise engaged its faster-than-light drive, turning away from Earth. Behind it, dozens of other ships launched from hidden bases across the solar system. Humanity was finally returning to the stars, and this time, they were not coming as prisoners or students.